Hi, my name is Joe Donaldson, and this is my Hold Frame Workshop.
So, Joe, these three films seem like basically dream projects for any motion designer. I mean, super abstract, visual metaphors, awesome scripts, really cool topics. So, can you just kind of start by talking about how you got these projects and, what does it take to actually get a client to come to you and say, here you go, make something awesome for us?
Well, I'd say a lot of it is dumb luck. I actually don't know how these projects initially came in or fell into my lap. At the time when I got the first email from the New Yorker, I don't believe my website was even public. I think I had it password protected at the moment. I'm assuming that a couple of people from the team at the New Yorker had formerly worked at the New York Times. So I believe they might have been familiar with the work I had done with them, and then just goodwill and whatnot brought that over to the New Yorker, and they reached out. But I remember when I first got the email, it was for a whole different project altogether. They wanted to do something that was about the World Trade Center and would be displayed like in the actual elevator of the New World Trade Center and like play as it goes up the floors. That was the first time they reached out, and that project actually died, unfortunately. But then a couple months later, they reached out, and that was with this series that we're talking about today.
So they came to you with three films they wanted you to do, or was it that you did the first one and then they gave you two more?
It was the latter, so which is both good and bad. So when the first project started, it was really just a big test. At the time, the New Yorker had done various forms of animated content, but they hadn't done too much long-form visual essay style work, kind of like this. So a lot of this was a big test to see how this went, how it was received, kind of all of that. The first film we did was the Leonard Cohen one. And that ended up actually going really well. So the initial statement of work and the contract was just for the single film. But after we finished that, I guess that went up the food chain and they were happy with them, and they followed up soon after wanting to do two more, which was very good and stressful at the same time, because it then meant now I had to recreate what I had done the first time when I was just thinking it was only one film, two more times. And that was a lot of work to have to do.
Right, yeah. So you sort of dumped a bunch of energy into that first one thinking, all right, this is a sprint, I make it to the end. And then you realize I'm actually only 1/3 of the way through the race. So like I mentioned, I think from a motion designer's perspective, this is about as close to a dream project as it gets in terms of just open-endedness and having, Leonard Cohen, imagine, having a client come and say like, hey, make something awesome about Leonard Cohen. So what stage of your career were you in when you got these? I want to, for anyone watching this, I want them to be able to sort of compare where they might be in their career to where you were to get an opportunity like this.
Well, I guess it's kind of hard to say. I think at the time I was definitely I was stepping back from a bunch. I had stepped down from my position with Buck, where I'd been working for quite a while and had freelanced with them beforehand. I was teaching, or I still am teaching. And I wasn't really taking on work. I had been kind of out of the studio circuit for quite a while. I had done a lot of directorial work, either through a rep when I was younger, or also leading jobs and creative directing jobs with Buck. So I definitely had my fair share of direct-to-client work and directorial work under my belt. But at this time, I actually hadn't made anything since 2016. So it had been maybe going on 2 to 3 years since I'd even done anything at all. And at the time I was really just being open to projects as they would come in, but a lot of it depended on the scope, who it was, what it was about, the budget, things like that. So it was kind of perfect timing. I was available, and it actually coincided with summer break, which was wonderful. Ironically, I just, suffered a running injury, so I wasn't running either. So I was able to channel all of my energy and free time into this one film, which was great. And then kind of going back to the previous comment, when the other two had to get back going, that then overlapped with school and other work obligations. So the Cohen film was this blissful summer break of just jamming on this film. And then when the David Attenborough and the Janelle Monáe film came in, that was much more stressful. And even though the timelines were the same, it felt much more daunting.